Good evening, my Real News Media TV family. Welcome back to the channel for another news update for Thursday, October 16, 2025. And in the news this evening, 14-year-old St Elizabeth boy charged with murder over stabbing of relative during fight. A 14-year-old St Elizabeth boy has been charged for the stabbing death of a relative during a fight at their home. Reports from the police are that about 9:50 p.m. on Friday, October 10, the accused boy and the two other relatives were at home when an argument developed between him and one of the relatives, which escalated into a fight. According to the police, the boy then brandished a knife, which he used to inflict a wound to the relative's chest. The other relative, on seeing what was happening, intervened and separated them. Shortly after, the injured boy went outside, where he collapsed to the ground. He was taken to the hospital, where he was pronounced dead. A report was made to the police, and the accused was apprehended and placed at a juvenile center. On Tuesday, October 14, he was formally charged in the presence of his mother. His court date is being finalized. Policewoman found dead at home in St. James. A police corporal who was found unresponsive at her home in Brook Close, Granville, St. James, has been confirmed dead. She is 59-year-old Bibsy Foster. Preliminary reports are that Foster, who was on pre-retirement, was discovered unresponsive at her residence Wednesday morning. She was later transported to a medical facility where she was pronounced dead. Foster would have retired in November. The Jamaica Constabulary Forces Corporate Communications Network has since confirmed the corporal's death. 16-year-old boy charged with robbery. A 16-year-old student of Sunrise Crescent, Red Hills in Kingston, has been charged with robbery with aggravation following an incident in Portmore, St. Catherine on Tuesday, October 14. Reports from the Waterford Police are that about 4:30 p.m., a teenager was standing on the roadway when he was approached by a group of boys, including the 16-year-old. The boy then brandished a knife, held up the teenager, and robbed him of one iPhone 12 Pro Max cellular phone. The group then made their escape on foot in the area. An alarm was raised, and the 16-year-old boy was apprehended by citizens and then handed over to the police on their arrival. He was subsequently charged on Wednesday, October 15. Preparations for his arraignment are underway. Investigation launched into cash stolen from Beryllium truck. Local security company Beryllium says it has launched an internal investigation and is working actively with the Jamaica Constabulary Force following the theft of cash from one of its trucks on Saturday. The sum of the stolen cash has not been disclosed, but the police confirmed that an employee is currently being investigated as a suspect. We are confident that with the advanced investigative measure now in progress, there will be positive developments leading to the recovery of the assets and the apprehension of those responsible, the company said in a statement on Thursday. It assured her customers that the safety and integrity of its operations remain top priority, and it said every effort is being made to bring this matter to a swift and a successful resolution. Two Trinidadians believed killed in U.S. strike off Venezuela coast. Two Trinidadian nationals are believed to be among the dead following the fifth strike on a vessel by U.S. forces off the Venezuelan coast on Tuesday, targeting drug cartels. The Trump administration has said that 6 people were killed in the latest incident, bringing the number of deaths since September to 27. But according to Mark Bassant of TV6 News, the relatives of 28-year-old fisherman Chad Burnley say based on the information they received on Tuesday night, they are certain he was one of the 6 men killed. The fifth lethal kinetic strike in as many weeks off the coast of Venezuela may have claimed the lives of at least 2 Trinidadians who was on board, with relatives of one of the men coming forward saying that 28-year-old Chad Burnley from Las Cuevas was one of them. Two relatives who spoke to TV6 News exclusively said that Bernie had been in Colombia for the last 4 months and had made at least 2 previous attempts to get home. However, both relatives confirmed that on those occasions, the vessel they were traveling in was shot at and they had to return to Colombia. However, Bernie, in company with another Trinidadian and 4 Venezuelan nationals, left Colombia sometime late Sunday or early Monday and decided to make the journey towards Trinidad, the relatives explained. One relative said that the men traveled along the coastline and were reportedly shot at several times as they neared Venezuela. The vessel ran aground somewhere in the Carapano area. The relative said based on the information they received, Bernie and the others decided to wait it out for a few hours before venturing to Trinidad. Another female relative said that a boat was supposed to meet Burnley and the other Trinidadian on Trinidad waters and to take them home. However, when they left Venezuela and entered international waters, the boat was struck, killing all 6 men aboard. Relatives said one of Burnley's close relatives was contacted yesterday and told that Billy was on the boat that was destroyed by the U.S. His relatives said they could not say what he was doing in Colombia all that time and could not say with any certainty if he had been involved in illegal activities, but described him as a nice, loving and caring person. Attempts to contact the Minister of Homeland Security, Roger Alexander, on whether he had been notified if any Trinidadians had been killed in the latest U.S. strike was unsuccessful. Last week, Colombia's President Gustavo Petro said that a boat recently bombed by the U.S. was Colombian with Colombian citizens aboard. Meanwhile, U.S. President Donald Trump on Thursday confirmed a report that he authorized the CIA to conduct covert operations inside Venezuela and said he was considering strikes targeting drug cartels there. Defense attorney wants Royal Reed, Fritz Pinnock, and the co-accused fraud trial dismissed, cites issues with indictment. Defense attorney Hugh Wildman this afternoon called for the dismissal of the fraud trial involving former Education Minister Royal Reed, citing what he described as a major judicial error. Wildman, who represents a former Caribbean Maritime University president, Professor Fritz Pinnock, argued that the trial is fundamentally flawed. He argued that although 5 individuals are currently on trial, only 2 of them, Reed and Pinnock, are named on the indictment. The trial as it stands so far is a nullity as it relates to the other 3 accused, Wildman told the court. This cannot be cured because the trial has commenced on an order that does not exist. According to him, the issue is significant and cannot be corrected within the current proceedings. He insisted the matter must be referred to the Supreme Court. How can we proceed with this trial? This trial has to come to an end, he asserted, urging the judge to halt the proceedings. Wildman's submission came after the prosecution closed the testimony of his first witness, a minister of religion and employee at the Jamaica College, who was called to confirm the identity of the deceased individual. The deceased, the witness's brother, served as Reed's driver and died on November 28, 2020, before being buried on December 19. Following Wildman's submission, other defense attorneys adopted his argument. Reed's attorney Anthony Armstrong supported the motion, stating that the incident is irregular. The information listed at the back does not contain any charges other than the one listed at the front, he argued. The trial involves Reed, his wife Sharon, daughter Sherelle, Jamaica Labour Party councillor Kim Brown Lawrence, and Pinnock. The 5 were arrested and charged in 2019. They are facing multiple charges, including conspiracy to defraud, corruption, acquiring and handling criminal property, and participating in an arrangement to retain criminal property. The allegations involve a scheme to defraud the Ministry of Education and the CMU of over $25 million. Thank you everyone for watching. See you tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. for another news update.